Hey y'all, it's your man D Real. First and foremost, let me say happy Thanksgiving, happy Indigenous Peoples Day, happy whatever day you decide to celebrate. I decided to celebrate it, at least for y'all, with my video that I did a few years back about Indigenous Peoples Day, sort of a truth about Thanksgiving kind of video. Uh, Pretty eye-opening. So I thought I'd bring it back to you this year. Hope y'all re-enjoy it. And for those who have never seen it again, here it is. Peace. Hello and welcome to a special holiday edition of Be Real with D Real. I have painstakingly and carefully put together a series of videos with this holiday in mind. I hope that you will enjoy. I've put together 3 videos in particular. And after the videos, I shall summarize. Comment, like, subscribe to the Be Real with D Real page and share the page so that you can get alerts when new material comes out. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. Hope you enjoy. I'll be back in a sec.
A better way of life.
Better than what?
Better than what you have.
I like what I have.
I understand that. But your people live in the Stone Age. We live at the beginning of a great industrial revolution.
He doesn't understand why...
Chief, the United States government is offering you a piece of land of your own.
We have our own land.
No, it's not yours. It's the U.S. government's.
Did they buy it?
No.
Did they trade for it?
It's not like that.
Then how can they own it? He has a point.
If you accept our offer, you won't have to hunt buffalo anymore or roam the prairie. You can depend on your country to take care of you.
You are not my country.
We will give you everything you need if you will just submit to living on a reservation.
We need nothing from you. Mr. Durant, if we could just...
I'm done, Reverend. Good luck.
Thanksgiving. Lies.
Sadness, total sadness. Thanksgiving is a time when my family gets together and tells stories about our creation myths and who we were and who we are and really what we lost.
Inaccurate. I like the overall idea of Thanksgiving, but not where it actually comes from.
Turkey and white pilgrims. I don't know what the first Thanksgiving was, but I highly doubt it was a group of happy pilgrims and a group of happy Indians cooking turkey together.
Family.
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 Watch football, overeat.
Warm.
A celebration.
Thankful.
I don't really celebrate the holiday for like what it actually is, more of like just getting to have family over and eat.
Colonization. I think it is important to give thanks and to have a day for that, but maybe the history of why we celebrated it in that certain way is more complicated.
Oh, that's a horror. Horror beyond measure. Terrible, brutal, atrocity, massacre.
There was a massacre. Puritans came and slaughtered them. They didn't want to eat with the savage. They slaughtered millions of us. I don't know why they called themselves Puritans.
romanticized. I would definitely say the story of Thanksgiving and coming together is definitely romanticized because of the horrible atrocities that were committed against us.
Thanksgiving, to me, means a day for football and lots of good eating, and trying not to think about what it really represents.
Every year in November, a story is taught to America's school children. It goes like this. After a harsh winter, the Pilgrims, with the help of a native named Squanto, reaped a successful harvest and celebrated by inviting the local Indians for a friendly feast and started a yearly tradition. Yay! Almost every part of this story is historically inaccurate, and it's time to clear up the myths and lies surrounding the story of Thanksgiving. The Pilgrims were an English sect of the Puritans, the separatist Protestant congregation. These Puritans didn't call themselves Pilgrims, didn't come seeking religious freedom, and didn't wear buckle hats. By the time of the Pilgrims' arrival in 1620, 2/3 of Massachusetts' indigenous tribes had already been killed by new diseases brought by British explorers or kidnapped into the European slave trade. Plymouth Rock lay in the center of the territory of the recently extinct Pawtuxet tribe, which had been wiped out by a plague. Upon landfall, one of the first things the Pilgrims did was to rob the graves of the Wampanoag tribe and steal as much of the tribe's winter provisions as they could get their hands on. This caused tension between the Wampanoag, who ruled over Massachusetts, and the Puritans, which continued to increase until 1621 when Massasoit, the leader of the Wampanoags, found it politically advantageous to form an uneasy truce heavily slanted in the Europeans' favor. For the Wampanoags, the alliance was a necessity which allowed them to focus on fighting off other tribes invading their territory. Squanto, or his real name Tisquantum, was a member of the Pawtuxet tribe whose territory the Pilgrims had colonized. Captured by British slavers 6 years before the arrival of the Pilgrims, he was sold into slavery in Spain, escaped to England, then returned to North America where he worked with British merchants seeking to exploit Newfoundland. He eventually returned to New England to find his entire tribe dead and the Pilgrims living in what had been his tribe's summer village. Tisquantum would become the key for survival of the Puritans as he showed them how to plant and fertilize corn and other native vegetables, where to fish, and how to communicate with natives. The Feast of 1621, which we think of as the first Thanksgiving, was not an annual dinner, but rather a celebration of a successful harvest after a harsh winter. A letter written by one of the 50 Puritans at the dinner, Edward Winslow, recounts that they survived this winter because of the Wampanoags, but didn't see them as equals and didn't invite the natives to the feast. During the celebration, the Puritans fired off muskets and cannons for sport, which put the Wampanoags on full alert. 90 armed natives marched to Plymouth to see what was happening, and they stayed to make sure the British weren't planning anything violent. The eventual feast was not one of thanks and respect, but one of distrust and aggressive action. Another, quote, Thanksgiving would only come 16 years later when the Puritans were celebrating their recent massacre of the Pequot tribe. Yay! Even this wasn't what we think of as Thanksgiving today, but instead a day-long Puritan fast and remembrance of God. The holiday and concept we know as Thanksgiving started in George Washington's 1789 Thanksgiving Proclamation, where the Puritans aren't even mentioned. The holiday wasn't celebrated nationwide until 1863, when Lincoln declared it a national holiday to try to keep the country united. Even the myth about the Indians and the Pilgrims didn't even come about until the 1900s, yet still this story is taught as fact in schools across the country. So, this holiday season, forget about this made-up story of kindly Indians and grateful, friendly Pilgrims, and instead honor the natives of then and now with Native American Heritage Day.
I'm saying Indigenous Peoples Day. I realize Indigenous Peoples Day is Columbus Day, but I feel like Thanksgiving should also be called Indigenous Peoples Day, simply because of the truth of the history of what y'all had to deal with. My heart goes out to you. And I agree. It's all about family. It should be about family. It should be about togetherness. And ultimately, that's what matters. But just like y'all don't forget 9/11, don't forget the history of this. Thanksgiving. Indigenous People Appreciation Day. In summary, know what you are celebrating and why you are celebrating it. That varies from person to person, even Indigenous people. So, as you do your thing today, bear in mind, as they say around Christmas time, the reason for the season. Again, happy Indigenous Peoples Day. I'll be back with another one of them other ones. And until I am, please, y'all be good and be good to each other.